This episode of On the Record is brought to you by Associated Equipment Distributors. I'm Associate Editor Ben Thorpe. Welcome to On the Record, and I'm here at the Nebraska Ag Expo in Lincoln, Nebraska. Let's go back to the studio where Kim Schmidt will give you an update on what's currently impacting the ag equipment industry.
Thanks, Ben. Looking at data from the last 10 years, while the percentage of dealers forecasting whole goods revenue decline is rising, it's not quite to the level seen during the previous ag equipment market downturn. According to the 2024 Dealer Business Outlook and Trends report, just under 49% of surveyed dealers are forecasting a decline in new equipment revenue for 2024, a hair below the 50% who 10 years ago forecast declines for new equipment revenue for 2015. The percentage of dealers forecasting declines in new equipment revenue has risen for 3 years in a row. At the same time, 29% of dealers are forecasting declines in used equipment revenue for 2024, but higher percentages were seen in forecasts for 2015 and 2016, which was a 10-year high of 39.4%. Looking at the percentage of dealers forecasting increases, data shows results are down from the 2022 forecast peaks, but again, not to the levels seen at the tail end of the last downturn in 2015 and 2016. 32% of dealers are forecasting used whole goods revenue will be up for 2024, only up slightly year over year and below percentages seen between 2018 and 2022. The percentage of dealers forecasting increases in new whole goods revenue has actually risen for 2024 to 28.6% and is above percentages seen in 2015, 16, and 17. This 28.6% puts dealer sentiment for new whole goods revenue below the upswing in forecast seen from 2018 to 2022. The 2024 Dealer Business Outlook and Trends report is now available. To learn more, visit agequipmentintelligence.com. This week's dealers on the move include Telus Equipment, Belcorp Ag, and United Ag and Turf. John Deere dealer Telus Equipment has acquired 3 dealership locations in Marble Falls, San Antonio, and Bulverde, Texas. Telus now has 28 locations across South and Central Texas. Belcorp Ag is under contract to acquire the Deere assets of Turf and Industrial Equipment in Santa Clara, California. Deere dealer United Ag and Turf has acquired Chad Little Outdoor Power Equipment, a 2-store dealership with locations in Brunswick and Scarborough, Maine. Now here's Noah Newman with the latest from the Technology Corner.
Thank you very much, Kim. Over 50 ag tech companies showcased cutting-edge technology inside the Innovation Hub at last week's Nebraska Ag Expo show. And that's where we find Susterre CEO Michael Cawley, who gives us an up-close look at the company's ultra-high-pressure water jets that could be a potential game changer for people looking to cut through residue.
Our product is a retrofit row unit that we can install on any existing planter. It consists of 2 parts, a ski part that presses down the residue on the field, and then the jet that pumps water at 60,000 pounds per square inch. We've designed the product so that it can cut through any amount of residue without having hairpinning of residue and without applying additional downforce onto the field. Our side-by-side testing has shown that we can produce 6 to 12% yield increases in most residue situations. And our goal is to keep regenerative farmers in the practice of no-till and the use of cover crops for more seasons.
And Susterre says the technology pays for itself in 2 years. How's that for a sales pitch? Learn more about Susterre's journey and their plans to sell the product on no-tillfarmer.com. Our Dan Crubbett did an interview with Susterre CEO Michael Cawley. We included a link to that at the bottom of the Technology Corner web article. In the Technology Corner, I'm Noah Newman. Back to you, Kim.
Thanks, Noah. Titan Machinery reported record third-quarter earnings for fiscal year 2024 on November 30th. The Case IH dealership group achieved revenue of $694 million for the period ending October 31st, 2023, up 3.8% versus the same period last year. While Titan hit record revenues for the quarter, during the call with analysts, Chairman David Meyer said results came in below Titan's full potential. He credited the shortcomings to delayed OEM deliveries, prioritizing customer uptime throughout the harvest, and end-of-season construction projects, and increased preparation time to complete pre-delivery inspection of new machinery. Breaking down the quarterly results, equipment revenue came in at $521.8 million, up 2.5% year over year. Parts revenue saw a 5.7% increase to $115 million, while service revenue was up 14.9% to $44.8 million. Rental and other revenue accounted for $12.6 million, up 4.2%. Ag segment sales increased 7.7% to $531.4 million in the third quarter. CFO Bo Larson said during the analyst call that the growth was driven by Titan's acquisition of Pioneer Equipment, along with same-store sales growth of 3.5%. That was on top of what he says was a very robust 46.4% same-store sales increase in the prior year and same-store sales growth of 28% the year prior to that. Looking ahead, Larson says Titan expects the Ag segment to finish the year up 20 to 23%. The presence of spray drones and seeding drones in the ag equipment space is growing, and so are their capabilities. Some drones available in North American market are capable of spraying over 50 acres an hour and flying for up to 10 minutes before needing to swap batteries. Two hurdles the Ag Spray drone is currently facing, however, are the high price point and a complex user experience when it comes to mapping fields to avoid obstacles. This is according to Arthur Chen, founder of XAG drone distributor Pegasus Robotics. Associate editor Ben Thorpe caught up with Chen at this year's Nebraska Ag Expo in the show's Innovation Hub and discussed how some of the key advancements drone tech needs to see in the next 3 to 5 years is a lower cost and improved obstacle avoidance.
I think the key advance is the obstacle avoidance and also how simple the drone can be. So I want it to be cheap enough, maybe very dispensable. Just like a car's trucks, right? You have a working truck and it's not that expensive. You can easily find parts anywhere to fix it, and that's the most efficient way to own a truck for work. Another thing is the process of mapping a field is still very user friendly, right? If the obstacle avoidance is very advanced, you don't need to map the field. The drone will pick up all the obstacles. It's just like Tesla, you drive on the road. You never say, I create a map for Tesla, right? Then that saves a lot of headache and also give you productivity because you can just run the drone right away. It will figure out where to go. And you just say, spray this field. Then it will down to work without crashing. So, but I think that part also have a cost associated with, because there's technology you can put on the drone right now, like a LiDAR, radar, or even the vision guided cameras. You can put a lot of stuff on there. Again, that'll be very expensive. Nobody's gonna buy it. So I think that's where when the technology becomes cheaper, and then that makes sense to put on the drone for the real operation, because that's mostly cost effective.
You can read more about how dealerships are getting involved with Ag Spray drones in the upcoming January issue of Farm Equipment. According to the latest Dealer Sentiments Report, a net 22% of dealers say their new equipment inventory levels are too high. When it comes to used equipment, a net 4% of dealers say their inventory is too low. A December 6th Farm Equipment Text poll asked dealers what percentage of their retail orders they were currently able to fill out of their inventory. Consistent with the Dealer Sentiments results, the majority of dealers aren't having any problems filling orders. Nearly 30% of responding dealers said they can fill 81 to 100% of orders. About 22% can fill 61 to 80%, and nearly 26% are filling 41 to 60% of retail orders from their inventory. This week's DataPoint is brought to you by the Precision Farming Dealer Summit. According to the 2024 Dealer Business Outlook and Trends Report, the weighted averages of all branded dealers' early orders were down from the previous report and entered the negative range. Last year, only New Holland dealers had a negative early order weighted average. Shortline dealers had the least negative results when it comes to early orders, with a weighted average of -1 and 50% seeing a decline for 2024. No shortline dealers are forecasting an increase of over 10%, while only 10% said their early orders had risen 6 to 10%. The dealers with the lowest weighted average for 2024 early orders were AGCO dealers at -3.82. 79% reported early order declines of 1% or more for 2024, and 15.8% reported declines over 10%. As always, we welcome your feedback. You can send comments and story suggestions to kschmidt@lessitermedia.com. Until next time, thanks for joining us.